owes me a lot of money. He said he will pay, but it never happened. That's why I mentioned Tribune, you know.
Welcome back. Just before the last break, we were talking to our distinguished guest, Nadeem Qadir from Bangladesh Embassy in UK. He is the press minister. He's a prolific writer. Now, this is about your other columns, or possibly a magnum opus, Media Madhouse 2.
Yes, that was one of my, in the Dhaka Tribune last year.
Yeah. You have written a lot of things on, we are in the last segment, so we will not be able to quote, but you said somewhere that Syed Neaz, news director of Islamic TV, said media is occupied by people who have business or other vested interests.
True.
Yeah. And then, I'm quoting from your column, who closed down ETV, Islamic TV, I think,
no,
for no major reason, and what was the freedom exploited by Diganto TV? Ahmad Desh or Islamic TV is something I don't want to discuss today. That was back then.
Yes.
Are you in a better position to discuss that now?
Well, that was a totally different issue. That's why I didn't wanted to mix.
Yeah.
But of course I can tell you.
Yeah.
Ekusha television, my
this
television.
Is in the interest of freedom of speech.
Yes, of course. Ekusha television, my television career started there. And the way it was closed down and where I found my friends and colleagues unemployed, that was definitely against the freedom of press, because that was a very political decision. But when you talk about Ahmad Desh newspaper, you could talk about Islamic TV or Diganto television. Freedom of press does not mean you are going to incite violence.
Right.
Freedom of press doesn't mean you can say and write anything. You have to have judgment.
Right.
I have been in the profession for 35 years.
Right.
I've worked for the international media, and I think in Bangladesh we have the over freedom of what we do and what we write as journalists, which you do not find it even in Britain. So if you compare the two, that's why I said I don't want to discuss, if you compare the two, when there is an internal problem and you're inciting these fundamentalist elements which could lead to a civil war in the country, do you think that's journalism? That is not journalism.
Okay. You just mentioned about 3 minutes ago, or probably in the last segment, that Britain has a long history of democracy and all that, established institutions, see. But we have leapfrogged. We have the freedom of speech, and we have so many television stations, so many newspapers, and possibly 250 newspapers and magazines and all that. Whether they have readership or not, we do not know. But we have that kind of progress, made that kind of progress, isn't it, Stacey? But when it comes to politics, we say we are not that old, our democracy is young.
Our journalism has to mature also. As I was speaking, I was saying this to you, that true journalism is far away still, because we are still going through trial and error. That's why people don't think, people confuse what is freedom of expression and what is freedom of speech. There's a difference between the two also.
Right.
So if you are saying that the media has advanced, maybe we have advanced more, because thanks to the government, which has allowed so many television stations to come, and because the government propagates freedom of speech.
Thanks to your government.
No, of course you have to. You have to, because there has been a spurt in people getting license for television. There's a lot of newspapers, and there's no censorship.
I think you have an opinion on that too. I have read somewhere.
Yes,
that,
of course. We have the freest press freedom in Bangladesh right now compared to any other regime before. I had to leave Bangladesh during the 2000-2006 period for no good reason. I was working for AFP at that point, but still it was very political motivated actions that were taken against some of the journalists, and I was almost a victim unless somebody had told me that you should leave the country quickly, and when things cool down you come back. But I did not create an offense.
You mentioned freedom of speech comes with some responsibility,
yes,
isn't
of
it?
course.
Not to hurt people's sentiments and all that. Coming to the issue of bloggers.
I knew you'd ask that.
Well, you led me to it. Coming to the issue of bloggers, and some 4 bloggers have been hacked down. to death in last 6 months, which is very unfortunate, for expressing views that a lot of people consider were creating disharmony and hatred against some community. And that's why they have been hacked. But I do not know, because the case is still there, and investigation is going on.
Three of the main people have been arrested. That's the hot news right now.
Yes, we read that. See, then I would like to your opinion on this Probin Shekdar. I know he was arrested, but he has been released.
Yes.
He's a disabled person. He lost one of his legs in 2011, I think.
Yes.
Again, it was a matter of freedom of speech, see, and he has also some immobility.
Well, I can tell you, the government had nothing to do with it. It was an individual, and
no, I'm talking about now.
Probably, yes. I'm talking about the government had nothing to do with his arrest. He was arrested on the ICT law when a minister had complained, because he mentioned a minister that he's being threatened. So, but as soon as the government was informed about it, you have seen that he immediately got a bail, he's out, and because two things, Probir is not only a journalist, he's also a son of a martyr intellectual. So that has definitely very what would I say? It has special meaning to our Prime Minister, to the government. So the government immediately took the step, and it has been reported in the Dhaka media. The minister had called him and apologized that he had been so harsh.
Yes, I understand. The information minister found it shocking.
Yes.
And Chiranjeev Sen said it was painful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you understand.
I bet it was painful for a man with disabilities and being handcuffed and
well, yes, he was not handcuffed, if I remember. He was taken into custody, but he was questioned. He was taken into custody for questioning. But the government acted very quickly on that. That ensures that you have the freedom of speech.
His crime was that he mentioned the name of a minister. Well, is that a crime?
I'm saying that whether it's a crime or not, it has been proved. That's why he's on bail. He's out. His case will be withdrawn, as far as my knowledge goes. And the government...
Why would he be arrested?
That's what I said. It was the individual's decision. He's a sitting government minister, asked the police to act on it. If he asks his lawyer to act on it, well, there's laws also. So you have to see that, whether he has really broken the ICT law or not. So it's not a one-way traffic. That's why when I say, whenever you write, whatever you say.
He had gone to file a GD to the police,
right,
and he was refused. So he just published that on his Facebook.
That's what I'm saying, that you have to be careful in the sense that you have to justify, be judicious in what freedom. I keep on saying that because I have practiced that all my life.
The minister did not need to be judicious. He just said something and it was acted upon.
Yes, the minister wasn't. Maybe the minister. The minister can answer that question for you. Sitting here, I can only say that it was acted upon quickly by as soon as the government authorities came to know. The information minister.
It took days.
No, it didn't took days. It was very quick. I think it's 24 hours or 48 hours.
Okay, okay, we'll leave that as it's a pleasure talking to you, definitely, and I'm enjoying asking you questions, and I'm sure that you're enjoying answering them.
Well, I'm more used to asking questions, so I find on the other side of the table, you know.
Great.
But it's an honor to be with you.
It's another news that I'm sure that it has come on your desk too. This Economic Intelligence Unit, Economist Intelligence Unit, conducted a survey recently, very recently, I think it was in the news yesterday, of 140 cities, and Dhaka is the second least. See, it is after Damascus.
Yes.
even Libya and Lagos, Tripoli and Lagos.
Well, I must tell you that I have to find out on what basis, first of all.
I tell you the basis. The rankings are considered on 30 factors like safety, healthcare, educational resources, infrastructure, environment in 140 cities around the world.
All right. Okay, it's all right because, as I said, we are moving, and Dhaka is an overcrowded city.
Okay.
You cannot. It has grown up in one way. Now the population, it's becoming a.
I'd like to conclude today's discussion on a very positive note. I'm sure it.
We have 2 good mayors now in Dhaka to deal with it.
Great. Good that we don't have 3. A Bangladeshi-born Zia Haider Rahman has won Britain's oldest literary prize, James Tate Black Award, for his debut novel. I have had a look at it. Okay. It's daunting. It's so thick. In the light of what we know, that's at Edinburgh Festival, and I think that's a very positive point for the Bangladeshi.
Definitely. Bangladeshi Britons are a proud asset for Bangladesh. You too.
It was nice having you here, sir. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
It was a great honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us, and I hope that you have enjoyed the show as much as we have, and it was a pleasure having Nadeem Qadir with us. We wish we have more like him on our show. Thank you. Same time, same channel, on your mobile phone, online, and on your TV screen.